Hi guys, I hope you're well. I've had a couple of emails over the last sort of week or so indicating that some members are struggling with sort of upper back, neck, shoulder pain, a little bit lower backache, based purely, I guess, on the amount of time they're spending at home. Given that sort of home desks aren't necessarily designed with the same sort of health and safety issues in mind that you'd normally get in a working environment. Anyway, what I wanted to do today is just to run through some basic stretches for those areas without actually getting out of a chair. So I know for a lot of people mobility is a bit of an issue and can be quite challenging. So I figured if we start first and foremost by doing what we can in a chair, then effectively if it progresses we can take a little bit further for you. So first things to try and keep in mind if you can, the type of stretching that we're doing is what we describe as static stretching. Now the beauty of this is that you don't need to warm up beforehand. It's a very or particularly safe method of stretching as well. And I would say that without the obvious caveats in terms of pre-existing injuries, etc., by and large, for the vast majority of people, there shouldn't be any kind of issues with attempting these stretches. In an ideal world, and I know it's far from that, but in an ideal world, you'd be looking to hold these stretches for about 20 to 45 seconds per stretch, 2 to 3 times per muscle group, so you repeat the stretch 2 or 3 times. Overall, again, if you can, probably 3 times a day would be great, but of course, practically speaking, once is better than none. Now, the key thing to take away with any of this sort of stretching is really to try and keep in mind it's not a fight or a battle, it's not forcing yourself to hold these positions. Please, if you can, try to maintain the breathing so it's nice and relaxed and nice and slow. The slower the breathing, the deeper the breathing generally, the better the oxygen supply to the muscles relax more, you get a better response. So practically speaking, if we start from the top up around the neck area, really quite simply, all we're looking for to begin with is just to begin to rotate the neck. So we've got a little rotation to this side. And again, if I was doing this for the full duration, I'll be holding it for about 20 seconds or so, but I'm going to try and speed things through a little bit. And then we're back over to the other side. Now, don't be surprised if you notice that you can actually turn your head more on one side than you can on another. Now, that often happens because when we're sat at a desk, depending on whether we're left or right-handed, we will have a tendency to sort of lean left or right, and that creates a lot of tension, sort of one side or the other. So do a couple of those just to get the neck rotating. And then from there, what I'd like you to do for me, and turn sideways on this one in a moment, just going to drop the chin down into the top of the chest so that the head comes down. Now I'm going to turn sideways on this one so you can see this. So we're from there, we're going to drop all the way down. And the idea with that is that we're actually stretching these muscles from here that attach just in the back here. So the distance, whenever we're stretching any muscle, it's about increasing the distance of its attachment or its origin and insertion. So we're aiming to increase that distance and drop the chin in. Now we're not forcing it, we're keeping the breathing relaxed, and we're just letting the weight of the head drop down and increase this distance just here. Coming back to the upright, this time we're going to get this to come closer to this. So we can just drop over to the side, not particularly flexible on that one, but the stretch is actually on the opposite side, so we're stretching all through the upper trapezius area just here. And again, we're trying to keep the shoulders nice and still, because if this shoulder goes with it, we're going to lose the stretch. So this stays still, this drops over, this is what creates the stretch. We bring the head back to the upright again, over to the other side, and again making an effort to keep the breathing relaxed, but also to keep this shoulder down rather than coming all the way up. So we keep that down, drop it over. And then we're going to combine both of those stretches. So we're going to drop the head down again, so we're forward, but then we're just going to rotate over at a diagonal slightly. So we get more of a stretch around through this area now, as the head has moved over to the diagonal as well as being forward. Bring it back to the upright, let the head roll forward, and then just over at a diagonal so we can bring the stretch more into this area just here. And back to the upright. Okay, now from there I just want you to reach up towards the ceiling, fingers interlocked or not, entirely optional, it's up to you. The key thing is to try and get a bit of a stretch through the upper part of the back, through here, as we're reaching up. Now of course, because of where the lat's attached just under here, we're going to get a bit of a stretch down here, and it can be quite a nice stretch for the whole of the torso, but again, try not to force it and battle with it. Keep the breathing nice and relaxed. And then from there, as we come down, I'm going to bring this arm across the body so it's nice and long. Again, notice how we're trying to keep the shoulders square, because if I allow the shoulder to roll in, I'm going to lose a stretch through here and through here. So shoulder stays back, arm comes across the body, and then from there we're going to shorten it. Again, I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see this bit, because what we're aiming to do is keeping that shoulder where it is, so that one stays there. We're going to bring this closer to this. And that's what creates a stretch just in through this area here. Okay, now from there, this hand's going up and over to the back just to sit in there. Now of course with this one, got quite a strong stretch in there. Because this one's been focused a little bit on an individual side, I'm going to swing round and do this on the other side as well. So we're going to go with our extended arms again, so either fingers interlocked or palms crossed over, whichever you prefer, or just to reach up. Again, keeping the breathing as relaxed as you can. Now we're going to bring that long arm down and across the body again. So again, shoulders staying square. So you'll stretch through the shoulder and potentially through the back of the shoulder as well. And I'm going to swing this, so I'm not sure what space we got there, but we're going to drop that in there, and then again keeping that shoulder where it is, we're going to close that distance from there. And then from there, again we're going over the top just to increase this stretch down through here. Okay, as we leave those, we're going to come in more to the torso now and a couple of stretches for this area. And start with something really simple. Great timing on the phone there. Turn it on down, I think. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, we're going to come down into the torso. Just going to keep the hips nice and square. We're going to rotate to the side. So the idea is the hips haven't moved, but the upper body has. So we've got a bit of a rotation movement going on there. Then keeping breathing nice and relaxed if you can. And then of course we want to repeat that on the other side. Now of course keep in mind that I'm only going through these once just to give you an idea of what to do, but of course you can repeat them as often as you need to, ideally minimum 2 to 3 times. Now from there, because of the style of my channel, I'm going to use my hands just there, but basically we're aiming to pull the shoulders back, and again I'll show you sideways on this. So we're in this position here, we've gone from the shoulders forward to the shoulders back, and that's going to create a stretch across the front of the chest. Don't get mistaken, the sort of little bits of compression that you're going to get through the back and the shoulders aren't actually the stretch. This one is all about the chest. So by pulling the shoulders back, we're getting the stretch in the front of the chest. Now, as we relax this one, we're going to bring this arm up and across, so we're getting the stretch all the way down through this one. But again, you'll notice we're trying to keep the hip still here and let the stretch come out across this side. And again, as this one comes down, we're going to take that up and over, so we're getting the stretch right the way through down here. Nice and relaxed with the breathing. Okay, as this one comes down, we're going to reach hands forward and press. Again, I'm going to come around to the side so that you can see this. Shoulders start here, we press forward, so we project the shoulders forward, at which point we then begin to drop the head down so that we get a stretch through the upper part of the back at the same time. And from there, as we begin to bring the elbows in, we're going to place the hand on the back of the head and just roll gently forward, and then begin to bring the elbows together. Again, I'm going to turn to the front so you can see this. They've gone from there to there, but again it's nice and relaxed, so that we can get this through the neck and the upper part of the back. And then we push out, arms all the way down, and then as we come to the bottom and release, I'm just going to bring this leg up, hand to the outside of the knee, keeping the torso nice and square, but just gently bringing the knee across the line of the body, so it's coming into the chest but across. Again, I'll try and show you sideways on this one. I'm not sure how well you're going to get this, but it comes across, so it's coming back towards the chest and across that line. As we come round, again we relax, bring this one up, comes across. The idea is we get a little stretch just down here in the outside of the glutes by pulling that knee across diagonally. Again, I'm going to try and show you from this side, you might get a slightly better view. The idea is that the knee comes in and across. That gives you a stretch in the outside of the glutes. Okay, now that's taken probably about 10 minutes because I'm gassing through it, and you had the old little sort of intro bit at the front end as well. But obviously the idea behind this, guys, is that flexibility, the real benefit in it, as with many things on the fitness front, it's sort of the frequency. It's little and often, so please feel free to have a little play. If it's something that interests you, we can now take it to another level in terms of get you out the seat and onto the floor. But of course it will really depend on whether or not it's something you guys are interested in. So if so, do the usual, drop me an email at the club, or contact me via the club app, or again drop us a little note on Facebook. Have a fantastic afternoon, guys. Hope to catch up with you shortly. Cheers. Bye.